all over the place. I mean, oh, it is terrible. Anyway, at the moment with us, our very old friend, after a very, very long time, Ruben Mascarenas. One man we really and truly admire. The man who's really put his heart and soul and blood and sweat into making the Aam Aadmi Party what it is today in Mumbai and in Maharashtra. Of course, he's also worked everywhere else. Ruben, very good evening. Mr. Mascarenas.
Good evening, RKB. Thank you so much. You're always very kind. Thank you.
No, but really speaking, by the way, congratulations. Mascarenas, sir. Congratulations.
Congratulations for
650 Mohalla clinics completed and functioning in Punjab, which is fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yes. We are absolutely thrilled.
650 Mohalla clinics, and Mr. Bhagwant Mann has promised today, along with Arvind Kejriwal साहब, कि प्रदीप जी हर जिले का जो भी हॉस्पिटल है, उसमें सारा इक्विपमेंट अवेलेबल होगा 1 महीने के अंदर, इंक्लूडिंग एक्सरे मशीन्स, वो क्या बोलते हैं, MRI स्कैनर, बाकी सब चीज़ें जो भी होती हैं. आज की तारीख में पंजाब के अस्पतालों में जब आम आदमी पार्टी आई थी, अस्पताल तो है कहने को, लेकिन you don't even have an X-ray machine. Can you believe it? I thought that is a basic. I thought even a primary health center has an X-ray machine these days. So what were these guys doing? I really would like you to give me a take on what were these guys doing before that? Because as I told you, I'm getting fantastic reports of how you guys have transformed schools, especially in the border districts of Punjab, which is amazing, really and truly amazing. Please go ahead, Ruben, please.
So, thank you, RKB. So, I think 2-3 things here. One is what was happening in Punjab is that there was this organized loot, irrespective of whoever is in power, whether it is the Congress or whether it is the Akalis. Their business interests would essentially never be harmed, right? So, you had this status quo beneficiaries in terms of both the Congress as well as the Akalis. Like, let's take the Akali. When it comes to the private transport companies which are owned by the Badal, they don't really have any incentive to actually improve public transport, which will drastically reduce the cost of travel, would make affordable travel and quality travel actually possible for millions of Aam Aadmi, which is what Punjab actually wants. But as we can see that once you had the Bhagwant Mann government in place, we've actually been able to show that revenue can increase, right? So what was happening is that there was deliberate obstruction of state capacity. Now this can happen through the private transport facilities, as I mentioned, that they don't have any incentive to actually better government facilities, or for that matter, what we are seeing with regards to education and health. Right? I mean, even for health, right? You had these PHCs which were existing. These PHCs were there only on paper. They were pathetic. There was no accountability. There was, it was just not up to the mark, right? And what are we doing? We're bringing governance to an acceptable level. This is exactly what we did in Delhi. And this is what we are doing in Punjab. It's just that Punjab is a much bigger state. Which means that it has a very large rural segment also. In Delhi, you could see things happening rapidly. Even Punjab, it is still very much rapid when compared with everything else. But I was here when Bhagwant Mann was visiting just about 4 months ago. And even here at the Mumbai Investor Summit, he made an emphatic appeal saying that I want to rehaul Punjab's healthcare system. We're going to implement what we implemented in Delhi, which is essentially a 3-tier healthcare system where medicines will be free, where tests are free, and everything would be quality. So just as in Delhi, when you don't basically get a surgery in the assigned prescribed time of 30 days, you can actually go to a private facility and you can undertake the surgery there, and the government basically pays for it. So that is the kind of healthcare system which is absolutely world class, something that we received accolades from the UN and somebody as great as Kofi Annan. So I think that is the kind of work we wish to replicate in Punjab, and 651 Mohalla clinics, which are essentially known in Punjab, they're known as PIND clinics.
Yes.
Which was basically inaugurated. And of course, what Bhagwant Mann said, we are increasing the number of medical colleges. I mean, you never had an increase of medical colleges in the last 70 odd years, right? We are increasing it in within 5 years. We are almost tripling its capacity, right?
Wow.
There will be a medical college almost in every district. That is the kind of vision that Bhagwan Manji has. And health
So
and education
which means
are
now,
pillars
Ruben,
of
just
our
a minute.
development model in Delhi.
Just 1 second.
There are pillars in Mumbai too.
Just 1 second. So
Sorry.
which means now Punjab is likely to get maybe 12 more medical colleges. Is that what's likely to happen? Because right now you got the CMC, Ludhiana,
Yes,
you got another medical
16,
college in Ludhiana,
16, 16,
16 more.
16,
Wow.
16 more medical colleges.
Fantastic.
16, 1, 6. And in phase one, it is 6. Phase one, it is 6. It is 2 years. Right?
Fantastic.
And that is the kind of investment that that the Punjab government and the Aam Aadmi Party government under Bhagwant Singh Mann is doing when it comes to social infrastructure, when it comes to human infrastructure of health, of education.
And the other thing which I was very impressed with, by the way, today, Pradeep ji, you can take this up from here. The Arvind Kejriwal actually distributed zero electricity bills to I God knows how many thousands of people. Zero electricity bills
Yes.
today. Arey yaar, matlab, this requires brains, man. This requires real brains. Only an IIT graduate can do that. Pradeep ji.
You know, the Ruben Mascaron, the most important thing is creating government jobs. That is what the Punjab government has done. Where all the other government, you have a contract system and people are complaining of contract jobs, the need to go back to permanent. The Congress has in its manifesto that we are going to create more government jobs. Here you already doing a 38,000, around 38,000 government jobs created by the Punjab government within a matter of 2.5 years is something what everybody has to emulate. They have to. This is creation, and that's what fascinating in an age when there's no government jobs. You're into a contract system everywhere, including Maharashtra, everywhere into a contract system. And here you have a person generating 38,000 government jobs. How do you do that? How do you do that, Mr. Mascarenas? The will.
So I'll tell you, thank you, Pradeep ji. Very good question. Very good question. A very good question. And I'd like to. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Absolutely audible. Yes, we can see you and hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can also see you.
Okay. Okay. So very quickly, I think what has happened is when it comes to government schemes are essentially seen as some sort of a dole. It's essentially seen as some sort of a distribution of patronage. And that's what we've been seeing in most state after state, right? And in Punjab, we've demonstrated that look, the government can be a key source of employment. And it can also, all those employments can be made, all those recruitments can be done on the basis of absolute merit. And that's exactly what you're seeing in Punjab, which is these contractual workers who are just basically kept there as contractual workers. And imagine if the government starts essentially optimizing things to the extent that efficiency is more important than equity, then it's a problem. So I think what the Punjab government is doing is essentially putting its money where its mouth is, and it's demonstrating as to how you can actually have equitable employment through recruitments for government jobs without compromising on merit. And I think that is that job creation, that focus. And this is not just the government jobs. Also, there's a focus on what's happening in Mohali. I mean, Mohali as a city will, and write it down, okay? RKB, I'm making a prediction here.
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, Mohali will overtake Hyderabad and a Bangalore, right?
Wow.
Next 5 years, you see the kind of agreements being reached with Tata Power. I mean, it's essentially one of the biggest industry houses in Punjab right now. I know for a fact that there are several other conversations happening. And Mohali will eclipse everything. Mohali will even eclipse a Chandigarh or a Gurgaon. I mean, it's just a matter of five or maximum 10 years. That's the kind of investment being made into Mohali, truly becoming a city for enterprise, a startup city. You see the policies. It's open a company in a single day. You'll get approvals in a week. So all of that is very much on course. Bhagwan Man means business. I work with the CM. I know he's not going to leave any stone unturned in taking the state. So it's not just about delivering what we promise, but it's about just taking everything when it comes to Punjab, which is suffered from years of neglect. So it's not just doing what we are out to do. It's also essentially undoing the damage that has already been done by decades of misrule, by decades of neglect.
You know, Mr. Mascarenhas, what really impresses is Kejriwal government in Delhi. You have got the first construction and demolition recycling plant in Delhi. It's not there anywhere in the country where 2,000 tons of rubble every day is being recycled. Now we are talking about controlling pollution. And where Mumbai, Maharashtra is concerned, you got the biggest infra projects going on. Construction out everywhere, 14 lines of metro being staged. We've got a bullet train out there, and what we are doing is we are taking debris and throwing it wherever we can. We are throwing it in open plots, we are throwing it in the forest areas, in the wetlands. That's what we are doing. And here you got a winter pollution plan in place, and the most impressive, as I began with, a 2,000 ton rubble recycling plant, the first of its kind in the whole country. That's what you call a pollution plan, a winter pollution plan. Are we prepared here in Mumbai and Maharashtra for that, Mr. Mascarenhas?
No, absolutely. So there are two ways of looking at it. One is that there is complete lack of intent when it comes to the government in Maharashtra to tackle pollution. I mean, here we have Mumbai, which is right bang on the western coast. We have the Arabian Sea. And actually, you had these natural wind patterns which would basically cleanse the city. And right now, that is not happening. Right now, you actually have an Iqbal Chahal who shamelessly says that the particulate matter pollution in Mumbai is not due to construction activity. Now, this is what happens when you have a builder, Mangal Prabhat Lodha, who itself has some of the largest construction sites in the city. This is exactly what happens when you have builders in charge of civic governance, that they are essentially pro their own interests, which is basically that of a builder, and they're not pro Mumbaikars. But whereas when it comes to Delhi, we actually shut down a power plant, a thermal power plant in Delhi. I remember this was about 6 years ago. And there was a lot of hue and cry, but we shut that down. When it comes to moving out industries, when it comes to actually providing industries with access to alternate green fuels, we did all of that. And I think the difference is that there is intent. Of course, sadly, the problem with Delhi is that you have a very cursed sort of a geography, and almost 70% of the pollution in Delhi is not because of Delhi itself. So that said, we are doing what we can. What you just mentioned in terms of the recycling plant with regards to the debris is essentially a step in that direction to reduce particulate matter. But the bigger point is that pollution is not, P may be for pollution, but P is not for politics, especially in pollution. I think what is really surprising is even when we saw during Diwali, we know typically that you essentially have a cycle year after year, but yet you couldn't see a prime minister actually chairing a meeting of all the states in North India, right? Because you had not just Punjab, you also had UP, you also had Haryana, which surrounds Delhi in almost 3 areas. So I think here you have a lot of passing the buck. The Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi is doing what it can when it comes to governance. In Punjab, if you know that there was a proposal put for compensating farmers, which was sadly again stopped by the governor. This is the biggest issue, that when it comes to BJP states, you actually have the governor function in tandem with the chief minister. And when it comes to an opposition state, you have the governor do all that he can to actually function like a BJP office, right? All governors are functioning as an extension of the BJP headquarters.
And the funny part is, Ruben Saab, Mascarenhas Saab.
They function as political appointees.
Mascarenhas Saab, the other thing is, when there were no firecracker sales in Delhi, why did Delhi resemble a war zone during Diwali? Where did the firecrackers come from? They were not sold in Delhi.
So I think multiple. No, I think multiple things. One is firecrackers, of course. Firecrackers are a problem, and people need to celebrate whatever we do in a very responsible way.
Yeah, right.
That said, what was also
2,000
problematic,
firecrackers per minute.
what was also problematic is Haryana.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was RKB. I was here in Mumbai. I was celebrating Diwali on my terrace, and quite honestly, after a point in time, there was so much of smoke that we actually had to go back to our house. So I mean, it's a problem which is a collective societal problem. Also, I think it's sad that despite so much of education, you still have the sale of firecrackers hasn't actually reduced. I was just looking at the numbers for all of India's metropolitan states, right? I mean, it remains at an all-time metropolitan cities. It remains at an all-time high, and that's more of a societal problem. What the government can actually do is to create incentives and disincentives. And I think to that extent, we've tried to do that in Delhi.
so
If
let's come
you
down.
remember, a couple of years ago,
Gee.
a couple of years ago, we had actually created a light show in Delhi where we said that, okay, please come and participate. And, this is a light show which is not happening because of firecrackers, and you can come and see the laser show. And that's our way of celebrating Diwali. So I think we've
Yeah,
been doing that.
in
But
Central
it's
Park.
also a larger societal issue. I think we
Central
are
Park
humble
in
enough
Connaught
to.
Place.
We are humble enough to acknowledge the fact that we can't solve everything, but we are at least
So, Mr.
taking the
Mascarenas.
right steps to create incentives and disincentives.
So, Ruben Saab, let's address the elephant in the room. Is Arvind going to
Okay.
be arrested? Is Arvind Kejriwal
So we've
going
been
to be
given to
arrested?
understand that yes, we were actually told by people that we know who are in the know of things that Arvind Kejriwal is turning out to be too much of a thorn in the flesh of the powers that be, especially the PM-HM duo in India. And clearly, they can't tackle us politically. So now, you saw what they did with Satinder Jain ji. You saw what they did with Sanjay Singh ji. You saw what they are doing with Manish Sisodia ji. My heart actually broke. I know Manish personally. I have seen Manish ji's work right since India Against Corruption. That man is an honest man. That man is the founder of India's education revolution, which we are proud of that we started in Delhi. What's happened in Delhi should happen in every other state. And rather than putting the opposition in jail, we should actually have a competition amongst other states, saying that, hey, my schools are better than your schools. Hey, we've been able to do this better than you. And that is the kind of debate and discussion that this country needs. And what we are seeing is that you just have the opposition being literally thrown into jail. You know how the PMLA works. PMLA section 45 essentially just makes any option of a bail just impossible. And what's happened in the Manish Sisodia issue is a miscarriage of justice. But just to come to your question, we are prepared for any eventuality. Remember, we are a party which came to power from the streets. We are a party which is built on a people's movement. We are not worried about government oppression. We are not worried about it. Is actually sad that even when it comes to a Supreme Court that we've not got relief. But that said, we still believe in the Constitution of India. We still have complete faith in the judiciary. And irrespective of what happens, Arvind ji has gone on record. You have Atishi gone on record and said that if necessary, we will run the government from the jail, right? But this is the extremity that the BJP can stoop to. That they can't manage us politically, which is why they're essentially arresting us. But more than anything else, my simple question to the BJP is: if you're so confident of the fact that we've done corruption, you've not been able to find a shred of evidence, you've not been able to find a single money trail. This is just a systematic abuse of your criminal justice system in our country, sadly. And And this will have to end because clearly you're not even having anything up to a trial stage.
Mr.
BJP
Mascarenhas,
rule has actually reached a trial stage.
Your,
Not a single case.
your main problem started when Sanjay Singh started talking about Adani. Adani's involvement. आपने हिसाब मांगा 20,000 करोड़ का. आपने हिसाब मांगा कि कोयला जो आ रहा है ये सोल एजेंसी कैसे हो सकता है. आपने आवाज उठाई कि ये 12,000 करोड़ का गेन 32,000 करोड़ कैसे. हिसाब मांगे थे आपने. यहाँ मुंबई में भी आप लोग हिसाब मांग रहे हो कि धारावी का अडानी प्रोजेक्ट अडानी को क्यों गया. बाकी लोग टीडीआर बिल्डर्स जो है टीडीआर अडानी से क्यों खरीदे. Why are you creating a single monopoly? Now is this going to create more problems for you? Are you ready to face it?
No, absolutely. We are willing to face it. And आज अडानी की कंपनी चोरी कर रही है देश के संसाधन, तो हम उसके खिलाफ बोल रहे हैं. कल कोई और कंपनी एबीसी भी अगर कुछ ऐसी हरकतें करे तो हम उनके खिलाफ भी विरोध प्रदर्शन करेंगे. ये हमें कोई व्यक्तिगत किसी अडानी या किसी पूंजीपति से प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. हमें प्रॉब्लम है ये क्रोनी कैपिटलिज्म से. लुक एट द मैनर इन विच your entire country's resources, whether it is coal, whether it is our mines, whether it is our ports, whether it is our airports, you systematically, literally pawned everything out to Mr. Adani. And, Arvind is on record saying that, ye keval, and he said that in the Delhi Legislative Assembly that, what Adani is essentially investing it's not his money. I'm being told that it is Modi's money himself, and he's just some sort of a fund manager, and he takes whatever he takes. Now, clearly, you have the BJP bending over backwards so that Adani benefits. That's about the national picture. And of course, rightly, Sanjay Singh has essentially time and again exposed the rotten corruption in the Modi government, has exposed how your institutions have been compromised, how the government has literally put everything on a platter for Mr. Adani at essentially the detriment of us as taxpayers, right? And he's now basically paying the price for that. But that said, look at what has happened in Mumbai, right? Here you have Adani itself, which is basically going through all kinds of rough waters or whatever, and then you have the DC rules amended such that every builder constructing north of Bandra would basically have to take TDR from Adani. I mean, what rubbish? I mean, this is systematically, of course, a lot of things are wrong in the real estate sector in Mumbai. Of course, there are lopsided prices, there is a lot of black money, there's a lot of Neta, builder, nexus, all of this is there. But this is even beyond that, right? This is just basically saying that, hey, Mr. Adani has to make profit at all levels, and we will. It is the government's responsibility to ensure that it happens. I'm sorry, the government exists for the people. The people don't exist for the government. Right now, the way in which the BJP is operating, the way in which Mr. Fadnavis especially and the Eknath Shinde government in Maharashtra are operating as though they exist for Adani. And Adani exists for them, and the people just are nowhere in the equation. And I just like to draw your attention, RKB. Yes. There have been no elections in 28 of Maharashtra's municipal corporation. Yes. Let's take Kalyan Dombivli and Aurangabad for that matter, Vasai Virar for that matter. There haven't been elections, Meera Bhayandar for that matter. There haven't been elections in the last 3.5 years.
Just one small thing, by the way.
In Mumbai.
Mr. Mascarenhas, a bit of breaking news. Atishi Marlena has just written to the governor. She's appealed to the governor because the finance secretary of Delhi, Mr. Ashish Verma, has stopped all funds of the Delhi Jal Board, as a result of which no money has been released for salaries and even routine work by the finance secretary. He doesn't care about the chief minister, he does not care about the water minister, and it's real rock and roll time. I wish you all the best. Ruben Mascarenhas, you guys
but we were job. Thank you so much, RKB, but the people are watching. Yes. Okay, we saw this happen when it came to the Supreme Court judgment in our favor. The Modi government refused to even listen to the Supreme Court. right? It filed a review petition and at the same time brought in an amendment. I mean,
Yes,
come
they
on.
did.
If you feel that there's a miscarriage of justice, you file a review petition and you say what points of law have been misinterpreted. But here, what we can see is the Modi government systematically trying to incapacitate the Delhi government just because they can't deliver, just because they are unable to give up their corruption. And they can't just stand that a party like the Aam Aadmi Party is actually doing good work for the people. That suddenly BJP का तो दुकान बंद हो गया ना पिछले पहले से तो for the first 15 years you under the Congress government उनकी दुकान बंद हो गई थी. अब तो और 10 साल 25 साल से बीजेपी की दुकान बंद है. So clearly when you can't manage people politically, this is absolute desperation. But irrespective, Arvind Kejriwal ji kabhi give up nahi karenge. I have complete faith in my leader. I know what my leader is made of. I know when even during India against corruption, when we would say कि अरे पुलिस आ रही है, ये आ रही है, वो आ रही है, he would say कि मेरे सर पे मैं कफन बांध के चल चुका हूँ. जिस किसी को मेरे साथ आना है वो उसकी खुद की जिम्मेदारी, उसकी खुद की डिसीजन. And none of us essentially said, okay, we will not follow you or whatever. So I think people don't understand. This is the stuff of the Aam Aadmi Party. We've done nothing bad in life. We've done nothing wrong in life. We've lived honest lives. We don't care who is listening to our phone calls or who is basically trying to follow up with any of these agencies. We will stand. We will fight the good fight. But what is sad is that, and again, I think I just like to through your medium put this across to the rest of India that India just has 30 years for our demographic dividend to turn into a demographic nightmare. Yes. If we end up becoming old before we end up becoming rich, we will never be able to pull our millions out of poverty. Kuch nahi hoga. If my generation ends up becoming old without actually generating enough of wealth, generating enough of opportunity, generating enough of employment, that should be the point. That who is going to generate more employment? Which state is basically being able to provide employment? Right now you have jobless growth. The only way that you will have growth with jobs is by promoting enterprise. And this enterprise is not Adani enterprise. This enterprise is not Ambani enterprise. This enterprise is small and medium entrepreneurs, which is totally stressed, which is right now starved of capital. We should be looking, if you want 20 million jobs, you need to create 1 million entrepreneurs. And what we are doing is dangerous. And if we lose another 10 years, then we would reach a point of no return. And that would be really, really sad for all of India, and our generations wouldn't forgive us. Our generations wouldn't forgive us. We can keep our politics aside, but this is national interest. This is the interest of 70% of India, which is below the age of 35, which wants a job, which wants education, which wants a dignified life.
And that, by the way,
see the BJP
the scenario you have painted, the scenario you have painted over here is the very modest one. What we are scared of is we should not become another Darfur. We should not become another East Sudan or another East Eritrea. That should not happen, because we can already see signs of it in Maharashtra, where there is caste versus caste, and there are so many other things happening. But we'll talk about that. I hope it doesn't happen. But for the Aam Aadmi Party and yourself, congratulations. You guys are doing a wonderful job. We're all very, very proud of you. All the very best. Thank you very much, Mr. Mascarenas. Great pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, another moment with us, also to talk about